So let's talk about meme add-ons, a category that I think even the devs forgot about. The idea itself is really cool, as it's a way to challenge yourself by nerfing your characters or changing how your power works, and get blood point rewards for it. The problem is that in most cases, the challenge is to shoot yourself in the foot and the reward is meaningless. This is because these add-ons don't double your blood points, all they do is help you reach the cap faster, so the reward is basically non-existent, and this means most players end up with one add-on that they will never use, which ends up clogging the blood webs. Not only that, this feature is very inconsistent, as sometimes the meme add-ons are actually not bad at all, and then others completely got your killer power. But perhaps the worst part is that sometimes there are add-ons that work like meme ones, but they do not grant you any blood points at all. In my opinion, I think meme add-ons should be either fun nerfs to the killer powers that double the amount of blood points earned as a reward for playing in hard mode, or add-ons that sidegrade your power for a new gameplay experience. So let's rank all meme add-ons in Dead by Daylight, including those that do not offer blood points, and see how I would change them in case they suck. What happens if you ask the devs to give you Hillbilly with nothing? Well, you can actually get that if you play with the Counterweight. In my opinion, the worst add-on ever created in DBD because it completely kills the reason why Hillbilly is strong in the first place. Counterweight will remove the curve that your chainsaw does at the beginning of the sprint. You know, the thing that allows you to use your power during a chase and the actual feature that players master in order to become beasts at this character. And the worst part is that this add-on does not give you blood points because Hillbilly already has a meme add-on that we will talk about later, so in the eyes of the devs, this is not a meme add-on, this is a learning add-on that is designed to help new players get used to the chainsaw better, not knowing that the actual curve is the thing players need to learn in order to become better Hillbillies, so this add-on goes completely against the design of the character it comes with. If they wanted a meme add-on for Hillbilly, I have a cool idea. Add the overheat mechanic back to the game, punishing Hillbilly for using the chainsaw, but also add the Pighouse Gloves add-on as part of its effect. And now removed add-on that gave Hillbilly the perks Brutal Strength and Enduring while the chainsaw was overheated, so you trade your chainsaw in exchange of playing like a boosted M1 killer. Next on the criminal list, we have the Anteiku Apron for Ghoul, an add-on that will remove the slide you do after each leap. And the best way to explain how it feels is to imagine Kaneki with cement shoes. It's absolutely horrible because it removes a very big reason as to why Ghoul is so strong, as sliding gives you extra distance and helps you with cutting off survivors. The craziest part is that this add-on was base kit in the PTB, as this was the way Ghoul worked like originally, but the devs saw how much people use the apron, so they made the slide base kit and changed the apron to be what we had in the PTB as an option for any psychopath that enjoy playing a massively nerfed version of Ghoul without giving you blood points for it. However, Ghoul is so strong that even with this add-on you can still get results, which is the reason why I still consider Hillbilly's add-on worse. My suggestion is simple. Remove the ability of the Ghoul to get the Enraged status effect, so anytime you leap on a survivor, it works as if you used your first leap. This would combo well with the Broken Chain add-on and give you a choice of playing pure M1 Ghoul. The one thing I will grant to the previous two add-ons is that at least they had the decency of being common add-ons, whereas this one is an iridescent one, but it is by far the worst iridescent add-on in the entire game. Iridescent Videotape for Sadako will remove your ability of inflicting condemn to survivors when teleporting, completely gutting a massive part of her power, but it will not turn off TVs when you teleport to them, so it's a side grade where you trade half of your power and the only slowdown you had in exchange for insane map mobility. If only it ended there. See, the devs thought that this effect was way too strong, so they added a nerf on top of it. Now, if survivors turn off TVs, which they will do because you cannot turn them off by yourself, it takes 20 seconds more for them to turn on automatically, going from 70 seconds base kit to 90 seconds, enough to repair an entire generator and more with the builds survivors are running currently. And as a survivor, you have zero reason not to pick up a tape and go around turning the TVs off, as you will not get enough condemned for it to be a problem, unlike with the default Sadako. So overall, while this add-on is attempting to do something unique for Sadako, it's objectively a significantly worse version to play an already weaker killer, and if you want infinite teleports, just go play Dredge, another low tier killer. My only suggestion is to make this tape a common add-on and add the blood point increase, because this add-on has no business being an iridescent. Then, at least it's understandable why it sucks so much, and the players that enjoy this trash can keep enjoying it. Bent Nail is the classic definition of a meme add-on. It makes your power worse and grants you blood points for it. In the case of the Cenobite, it makes it so that you have one chain less when you're using the chain projection, making a power that is already weak and inconsistent even more weak and inconsistent. And don't even try using this add-on with the Engineer Fang, because then you're basically powerless. There isn't much I can talk about this add-on. It does exactly as advertised, and it's honestly pretty boring. I think the Shattered Tooth is a much cooler design for a meme add-on, as it interacts with the Chain Hunt and works as a side grade, allowing you to play Cenobite as a stealth killer. Perhaps the most tragic add-on in this list is the low power mode for School Merchant, as I think this add-on had genuine potential. All it does is make your scanline static, so your drone no longer rotates. It also doesn't give you blood points, so the devs do not consider it a meme add-on even though it for sure acts like it. This add-on was interesting as a side grade, as it allowed Schoolie to use her drones as tripwires, putting them in choke points and hallways so that survivors trigger them when passing. However, this worked because there were 2 scan lines per drone, and also they were hidden, so survivors could be surprised by them. Now, because the scan lines are active at all times, it makes this add-on very useless. And if you ask me, I think the idea is really cool and something that could be incorporated into the base kit of School Merchant. Make it so that when you hold the power button while placing a drone, it turns that drone in low power mode, turning off the visible scan line and the rotation of it, and that way you can set up surprise tripwire drones in a stealthy way to catch survivors off guard, bringing this playstyle back. Or if that's too much, at least hide the scan lines when using this add-on. Scrapped Tape is probably the weirdest add-on that we have in the game, as it works like a meme add-on but it doesn't grant you blood points. This add-on will turn your shock therapy into a donut that spawns in front of you, so you have to aim with the sides or the front to hit survivors, and if they stand in the middle, they can dodge your shock. There is absolutely no reason to use this add-on as it sucks, and it's not even a fun add-on to use. However, you can combine this add-on with the other tape of the Doctor in order to have a weird shape as your shock therapy attack, more specifically the Phi Greek symbol. However, this prevents you from using any other add-ons, and it grants you no blood points, so there is no reason to ever run this combo. I think it would be cooler if this add-on worked like the first Vine attack, where you summon the shock therapy in a circle in front of you that you can aim vertically and further away, allowing Doctor to shock survivors on different floors and from mid-range, and giving him a completely new way of using his power. Rickety Chain is a classic meme add-on for Deathslinger, this time making his chain break faster when spearing a survivor with a measly blood point bonus as a reward for it. It's a boring add-on that doesn't make Slinger feel any special. You can try pairing this with the Cigar add-on to play him by breaking chains faster, but it's just not worth it. I guess just like Bent Nail and the other meme add-ons that will appear later in this video, this add-on is okay as a hard mode that makes your power worse, and maybe with the suggestion of adding double blood points at the end, some players might actually run it. If you ask any Dredge main their opinion on Mortar and Pestle, they will all tell you to avoid it like the plague, as all this add-on does is change the way your Remnant works so that when you teleport back, you face the same direction you did when you teleported. By default, you face the direction you place the Remnant as, so all Dredge players will flick before putting the Remnant to correct it, and this add-on completely changed that, so now you have to think of the direction before you teleport back, killing your muscle memory. And even if you like this better because you find it less confusing, it's not worth an entire add-on slot at all, nerfing your Dredge builds just for something that should have been an accessibility toggle in the settings in any other normal game. This add-on sucks, and I have to agree with Dredge mains. Don't use this trash and just flick before putting your Remnant. A very dumb idea I had was to make this add-on work like the Scared Hand from Hag. When placing a Remnant, instead of teleporting back to it, the Remnant gets collision for 3 seconds before dissipating, so you can sandwich survivors or block their escapes in a very dumb manner. As a fan of the unknown, this add-on pains me, and this background footage is the only time I have used this add-on ever outside of the PTB because I knew from day one that it sucked. Milk Carton is a very rare add-on that also doesn't grant you blood points, that changes the way your UVX works by making it bouncier. This is not enough to radically change the way Unknown is played, but it is enough to kill your muscle memory or make certain secure hits inconsistent due to the way the UVX bounces, which is worse considering how a lot of maps have very inconsistent hitboxes. What is funny is that there is a cult following for Milk, some psychos that will try to convince you that this add-on is actually goated if you learn it and master it. However, I see no reason to get used to an add-on that is very rare, so a lot of players cannot use it in every match, and the fact that they will be forever locked at only using one extra add-on by running Milk. There is just no point, and it's best to learn and master Unknown by default. I think instead of messing with the UVX, a cooler side grade for the Unknown would be messing with the clones. Now, anytime you teleport to a clone, you remove that clone and instead create a new one on the spot where you teleported from, and additionally, all teleport sounds are silent. This way, the fake decoy you leave when teleporting becomes a legit clone that survivors can dispel, and they won't know if you teleported or you are using Insidious to bait a hit. Additionally, your teleports are completely silent, allowing you to jumpscare survivors like crazy, but you cannot abuse it as your clones get removed. For some reason, the devs decided to give the nurse 4 meme add-ons when they did her add-on pass, and by far the worst one is Dual Bracelet, a rare meme add-on with blood points that cuts your blink range by 20%, which is very noticeable. It follows the classic formula of nerfing your power with a pretty big nerf. However, the nurse is so busted that even with this add-on, you can still win easily as the power itself is fundamentally broken by design. There isn't much I can talk about this add-on as it does exactly as advertised, and it works as a hard mode, making nurse harder to play. A killer that actually deserves a challenge considering how easy she is by default. And like I said, the nurse has 4 meme add-ons, with the second one being White Nit Comb, which reduces the lunge after blinking by a lot, forcing you to be much more precise when blinking on top of survivors. I actually really like this add-on, and it does make nurse much harder to play, but it also makes you play better as you have to aim your power instead of letting the aim dressing get crazy hits. In fact, I think this add-on would have been base kit for the nurse if she didn't have the lowest kill rate in the game due to how hard she is already to play, as this effect is not that big of a deal for expert nurse players. Again, I wouldn't change this add-on as it does exactly as advertised and gives nurse a hard mode, which you can make even harder if you combine both like I did on the B-roll. And by the way, this video took a lot of effort to make, as I had to play with every single meme add-on against the current survivor meta in Dead by Daylight, which is dreadful, and I got demolished match after match. So if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like or subscribe so at least my suffering was worth it. Now let's continue with the add-ons. Cracked Primer Bulb is the biggest fraud in this video, as the true OGs will remember the speed limiter before it was given to Leatherface, and instead we got this fake add-on as replacement. However, it works exactly like it did before, as it makes you not insta-down survivors with your chainsaw, and it also comes with a cute buff to your overdrive, which is really interesting as there are only 3 meme add-ons that buff your power in some way. Again, there isn't much I can say as this add-on does as advertised, and it is by far one of the most iconic meme add-ons in the game, as it was the very first added and makes Hillbilly harder to use for those that want to challenge themselves or learn to play Hillbilly with training weight, so that they become absolute monsters when this add-on is taken off. I think it deserves a spot as a meme add-on just for the veterans. Something I really like when Behavior does reworks is that they sometimes give you an add-on to play the original version back, but in the case of Freddy Krueger, they fumble by a lot. Blue Dress will transform your snares back to the original version where they are puddles on the ground that you can place and they activate when survivors walk on them. But there are 2 issues with this add-on. First of all, it doesn't work like in the past, as this snare will only last for 8 seconds, so you cannot use it as a trap like you could with pre-rework Freddy. And the second problem is that this was removed from the game for a reason, as it sucked. And if you want a power that works like this, Clown is just objectively better. So as it is, Blue Dress is really cool design wise as the devs put effort on this add-on, but it doesn't work like the original, making it so that fans don't use this, and it also sucks major butt, so players don't use it overall. It doesn't even have a blood point bonus, so in the eyes of the devs, it's not a meme add-on, but at least you can still teleport with Freddy and use his dream palettes, so Freddy Krueger is not rendered completely useless, which is why I ranked this add-on higher. The only fix I would do is to allow snares to be placed just like you could before, so you can play Freddy as a double setup killer, and even combine the slowdown of the snares with the explosion of a dream palette, and most importantly, make this add-on a common one with the blood points, so it's clear this is a meme add-on. Another add-on that doesn't advertise itself as a meme add-on despite fundamentally working like one is the Reflective Fragment for Michael Myers, a new add-on that removes your insta-down ability during Sweltering Strike in exchange for getting 20 seconds anytime you hit a survivor, which kinda allows you to have infinite tier 3. But the problem is that there is no point in having such a long tier 3 if your lethality gets completely hindered. So with this add-on that is also very rare in rarity, you just have a longer palette shredder ability and that's it. And the Iridescent add-on for Myers does the job of an infinite tier 3 add-on much better, as it refreshes the duration anytime you hook. For that reason, I see no point in using this add-on unless you specifically want to play a worse version of Myers, but I do respect that this add-on exists. The easiest solution for it would be to turn this add-on into an official meme add-on, with the rarity and added blood points on top. The Blight's Placebo Tablet works like a classic meme add-on, and in my opinion the nerf is actually kinda funny as it makes your rushes slower, hurting your mobility. However, if you combine this add-on with others that increase your turn rate, you can play Blight in a slightly different way. I guess it also makes Blight easier to use as it works as a training wheels add-on, but I wouldn't use it for that purpose as Blight already has 2 training wheel add-ons besides this one. The factor of being slower on a killer that is all about speed does result in some fun, as various Grandpa Blight builds exist thanks to the Placebo Tablet, and for that reason I wouldn't change how this add-on works as it does exactly what a meme add-on should do. Blight is so overpowered that even with this add-on, you're still stronger than the vast majority of killers even with the nerf. It sucks that one of the most iconic characters for FNAF is one of the worst add-ons for Springtrap, as Freddys Hat is yet another add-on that changes how the killer's power fundamentally works, yet it is not advertised as a meme add-on and doesn't give you extra blood points. Freddys Hat feels like it was created when the devs didn't know what weight value to give the Fire Axe base kit, and so they left this add-on for the players in the playtest that enjoyed the axe feeling heavier. This change allows you to hit survivors in some loops you couldn't before, but at the cost of completely removing the range of your Fire Axe, so you can only hurt survivors in short range. This kills your zoning and makes you less lethal than before, especially because you are a slow movement speed killer, so having to get closer to survivors and not being able to zone is a nerf. And again, just like the rest of add-ons that change how a power works mechanically, there is no reason to get used to this add-on if it means you have to constantly run it and you only have one free add-on space to test with, so I cannot recommend it at all. My only proposed change is to make this add-on a common add-on and give it the meme tier, as at least it does something unique, and I am sure there are some fans that swear by it. If there was one add-on that represents what a meme add-on is the best way, that has to be Party Bottles. This is a clown add-on that all it does is make confetti pop out of your bottles when you throw them and gives you extra blood points for hitting survivors directly with it. And that's it. There is no effect, no buff, and no nerf outside of the fact survivors can hear the bottles pop with the confetti and will know you're running one add-on less. However, despite how useless this add-on is, if they removed it from the game, a lot of players would be sad because of how iconic this add-on is for meme players. So I would just keep it as is. And another add-on that does basically nothing is the Anxious Gasp for the nurse, which makes it so that anytime you blink past a survivor, they scream. And according to behavior, this is a meme add-on as it grants you extra blood points anytime a survivor does scream. And when I think about it, it's really weird why this add-on exists in the first place. It's much easier to use compared to the other 2 meme add-ons that nerf her power severely, and it still grants you blood points. So if meme add-ons doubled your blood points at the end of the match, this add-on is objectively better to run compared to the other add-ons, which is why I think Nurse cannot have 4 meme add-ons to prevent her from stacking them without a penalty. So in my opinion, a simple change for this add-on is to reveal the aura of any survivors that scream for some seconds to make the second blink easier to hit. There is a very niche use for this add-on, and that is to interrupt survivor actions when screaming, like when they're breaking a totem or attempting to unhook a survivor, but you can just do that with hitting the survivors instead. Rotten Pumpkin is in my opinion one of the most divisive add-ons on this video, because it is a meme add-on according to the devs, as it grants you a nerf for a bunch of blood points, but the effect is something that I find can have some use with Demogorgon. Rotten Pumpkin will destroy the portal you use anytime you teleport to another portal, and this seems very bad at first. However, this is the only method by which you can destroy your own portals as the Demogorgon, as this is the only killer with a setup power that cannot change the location of its setup after setting them. However, the true value of this add-on is so it allows you to teleport from anywhere in the map by leaving one portal on you at all times. So now, if you're chasing someone and you have to leave, you can place a portal, use it, and the one you placed is now gone, even if it was in a useless position. So in a way, this add-on allows you to teleport more without wasting the time of going to a portal. But there is a huge problem with this add-on, and that is how annoying the portal closing sound is anytime you teleport, which is a reason that I wouldn't personally run this add-on myself. Now this add-on is a true classic. The padded jaws will make it so that your bear traps do not injure survivors at all when they step on one, basically rendering your traps partially useless and making any add-ons that inflict status effect on survivors to stop working when running this add-on. However, you can run this with Honing Stone, and if a survivor escapes your bear trap, they will go down. And as a bonus effect, if you run Save the Best for Last, with this add-on you can get 2 stacks of it, because when you hit a survivor, you will be able to hit them again, which is very useful, and when you catch the obsession, you can grab them directly and keep your play with your food stacks. So this add-on, despite it being objectively worse, still has some niche value in some hyper-specific builds. Additionally, the devs for some reason even added custom sounds to these bear traps, giving this meme add-on a true meme status as part of Dead by Daylight's balance. And another meme add-on that a lot of players enjoy for the Wraith is the Beast, which does a very simple thing. Now when you're cloaked, you still have your terror radius, however you appear undetectable and invisible so survivors don't know where you're coming from, but they know you're near. This is a very confusing add-on for survivors and a complete paradox as it removes the stealth aspect of the Wraith, the main reason this killer is strong as you no longer can ambush survivors. But even if it's a disadvantage, it still allows you to run some terror radius builds like anti-heals with Coulrophobia or other weird combinations on Wraith, and because of that, it increases the variety of builds that can be done on this killer, as well as it still allows Wraith to be undetectable while cloaked, so survivors can't reveal your exact location no matter what. And of course, I have to mention the dissolution trick with the Serpent add-on, as with this combination, survivors that fast vault a pallet will decloak you instantly when you run both of these add-ons, which is a very cool niche effect. Wesker has various add-ons that honestly could work as meme add-ons due to how mid they are, but the only one that is advertised as a meme add-on is Jewel Beetle, which will decrease your dash duration after grabbing a survivor, and while this might look like a nerf, it is actually goated in some specific scenarios. When you grab a survivor with your dash and you slam them against the wall, this animation takes longer than if you just throw them further, allowing you to get easier double taps on survivors, especially when you use your environment correctly to throw survivors in dead zones. If you add the Lion Medallion add-on, you will get a throwing build for Wesker, which can be really fun in my opinion as it changes the way this killer is played. But of course it can also bite you back, since throwing survivors on nothing will simply infect them and that's it. And especially when they're fully infected, you don't get the benefit of the insta-down. This is a very interesting add-on for Wesker, and honestly better than some of the add-ons he has. Never Sleep Pills is yet another meme add-on that changes the way a killer power is played as a side grade, as it removes the speed you get while in frenzy, but increases the duration of your power to 10 seconds more, allowing you much easier 5 hits and a lot more time in order to outplay or reach survivors that are playing well. This add-on also pairs amazingly with Mural Sketch to compensate for the lack of speed. However, despite all of that, there are still downsides to this add-on. The speed nerf will make you first hit harder to get and also harder to chain if survivors pre-run the moment you use your power. Additionally, it makes you easier to body block when a survivor is running in front of you with deep wounds, so it doesn't guarantee 5 hits always. Still, I really enjoy this add-on and it does fit the role of a meme perfectly, as it's funny to see Legion running so slow and the increased duration is a worthy side grade for such a nerf. Out of all the meme add-ons on this game, this one might be individually the strongest side grade for a killer power, and that is the Prayer Tablet Fragment. This effect is really simple. You no longer can infect survivors when you puke on them directly. However, When you infect an item like a generator or a pallet, this infection will stay for a very long time and will infect survivors faster. So all you have to do is infect generators and see how survivors become sick just by interacting with them. Now this add-on is stronger than default Plague. In my opinion, absolutely not, as not being able to puke on survivors is a major disadvantage, but it is a very interesting different way to play her that can lead to some very hard matches to win for survivors that don't know how to deal with this longer infection duration. Think of it like passive infecting as Plague. In my opinion, all meme add-ons should strive to at least fit the interesting concept like this one does, as I love these kinds of side grades that are not straight up a nerfed way of playing the original killer. Interview Tape is known by the Doctor players community as the sniper add-on for this killer, and in my opinion, this is a very fun build to do with the Doctor. Interview Tape will transform your cone shock attack into a straight line that is 24 meters long, and if you put Monitor and Abuse and the range add-on, now you can shock survivors before they even hear your terror radius. Pair this with an aura reading add-on, and you can interrupt survivors repairing generators, cancel them cleansing totems, or reset their healing progress with hemorrhage add-ons. It does make it harder to aim in close quarters because the sniper shock is skinnier than the default cone, but if you're a good Doctor player, you can still make it work. In my opinion, this is a very fun add-on, and even if it doesn't grant you blood points, I still think it deserves the spot as a meme add-on due to how much it changes how the Doctor's power works. And another add-on that is also not advertised as a meme add-on, but it for sure works like one, is the Spasmodic Breath for the nurse. In my opinion, the best meme add-on she has. This is the one that will remove your ability to blink after you hit a survivor with it, but it gives you full normal movement speed. That means after you hit a survivor, for 1 minute, you will be able to play like a normal M1 killer, and this will confuse survivors by a lot, as they will expect you to blink in order to catch them. This add-on allows Nurse to play with some perks that would never work on her, like Surge, Expose perks like Noid, or Chase perks like Bamboozle or Superior Anatomy. It completely transforms how Nurse is played, and for that reason, it is one of my favorite meme add-ons. However, it is still weak, as using this add-on against competent survivors that know you're running it, thus removing your element of surprise, will hurt you, as you're essentially an M1 killer, removing the power that makes Nurse the best killer in the game and turning you into a trapless trapper. And now we get on the top 3 most fun meme add-ons in the game, and in my opinion, the speed limiter for Leatherface is one of the most fun meme builds in the entire game, with the condition that you combine it with the Iridescent Flesh that resets your dashes anytime you hit a survivor with one. This add-on combination is especially brutal in unhook situations, as you can down both the unhooker as well as the unhook survivors and completely tank the endurance. It's also very funny when used against a survivor that has Dead Heart. This allows you to basically have extremely long chainsaw dashes with this killer, and it confuses the survivors as they don't expect you to run this add-on. It is very scary to see from a survivor's point of view. However, you still have to remember that this is a meme add-on. It's detrimental to your power and gets hard countered by pallets or vaults, as you can get stunned out of it, or if you miss during your dash, it's even more punishing. However, the good thing is that once the next patch is out, you will be even faster while using your chainsaw, making this build a bit stronger. And another amazing add-on combination that completely changes the way a killer works is Waterlogged Shoe for Hag, an add-on that prevents you from teleporting to your traps, but it increases your movement speed by 7.5%, turning Hag from a very slow killer to the fastest base kit, and now anytime your traps are triggered, the survivors become slower. Now if you combine this with the Scarred Hand, which gives your traps collision, then you get what is known in the streets as Chase Hag, or Chag. In my opinion, one of the most fun builds in the entire game, especially when you run her as full chase or full haste, as when it works, it's very annoying for survivors as they don't expect it at all. Sadly, the Diminishing Returns update will partially nerf this build when you run it with haste, so you will have to compensate by running chase perks. However, I do think this will make the build itself more viable once the perks are buffed individually. And finally, if I had to choose one add-on as the peak of meme add-ons, it has to be the iconic Scratch Mirror Myers, an add-on that defined an entire playstyle for this character since the release of the Halloween chapter, and is arguably the only add-on that is more iconic and fun to play against compared to the default Myers, especially after the rework. This add-on completely changes Myers From a brute that kills all pallets to a stealth killer just like in the movies that always knows where you are during stalking and then ambushes you with a scary jumpscare all while being slow. This is the clip farming add-on for sure, and you know a match is going to be fun when Myers is running this add-on. The best part is that Scratch Mirror actually got a buff, making it much better than before. However, it also got a shadow nerf, as now you cannot guarantee getting indoor maps, where this add-on was by far the best. But even with those factors in, this add-on is the true definition of game-changing add-ons, and I wish all killers had add-ons like this that completely change the way the killer is played. Let me know if there are any meme add-ons that you enjoy using yourself, or some other add-ons that you think are so bad that they could be turned into meme add-ons. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day!